Hi, this is Kelly Wright at the Money Show in Dallas, and joining me today is Mr. Landon Whaley of Whaley Capital. We're going to talk about vague, what is it we called it? Vague destination, and then I've got to know what Coddiwomple is.
Well, Coddiwomple is a word that means to walk in a purposeful manner towards a vague destination.
All right,
and to me, no singular word more succinctly summarizes what markets are all about, because both economies and financial markets are marching towards a vague destination. We have no idea, generally speaking, where they're headed, but we still must remain purposeful in how we approach our trading and our investing decisions, even though the destination is vague. So I like Coddiwomple as a word to summarize that.
It's great. I love it. I'm going to steal it. I'm just telling you right now.
No,
I'm just
please
telling
do.
you
It's
right
not
now.
my word. Somebody else, came up with that.
It's going to show up in a newsletter soon. Okay, so what you're talking about, though, is being thoughtful.
Purposeful, absolutely.
Purposeful.
Yes.
Those are important words. I'm a big believer that words have meaning. There's a lot of stuff in our industry which is
not purposeful. To
Thank
put
you.
it nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You saved me.
Yeah.
It was a good save. But that's something important about you and your firm. I mean, this is just not marketing for you. This is something you guys really believe in.
No question.
Okay.
So, look, I've been professionally managing money almost 20 years. First 10 between two Wall Street firms, so I know what that side of the beast looks like. The last 9 with my own firm. Everything that we do and what we tell private investors and RIAs that we work with always remain data dependent, process driven, and risk conscious.
Sure.
That is the way you remain purposeful.
Right.
You walk purposefully towards that vague destination. Always keep that in mind, because there is so much in this industry. There is so much in the financial media that is strictly noise. It is clickbait. It is eyeball viewing only. It's not relevant. And part of the problem that investors have today is there is more and more noise and garbage to sift through to try to find signal. Which is one of the things that we try to help with in the way that we do. But that's what's, I mean, I can't imagine being a private investor trying to figure out what this whole thing is all about with as much noise as is out there today. And so that's one of the ways that we try to sift through the noise, distill it down, and get to something that's meaningful.
See, I feel like that I found my brother from another mother, because we're singing from the same song sheet, and there's very few of us that do this. I've long said that even though we live in the information age, it's probably the most confusing time that there can be, because it's not that there's a lack of information, but there's a lack of content which is relevant.
Correct.
To the investor.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you had to summarize for the average investor, what is the 3 things you think that they should really focus on to help them keep the main thing?
Boy, that's fantastic. Look, this is not going to go over well, but you've got the data dependent side of this thing is critical. What I mean by that is this. You've got to find someone or a firm, not mine necessarily, but someone who you respect and trust that does a good job of distilling economic data. If you're following media headlines, okay, that's narrative being spun about the data.
Oh yeah,
that's not
story.
Data itself. Get to a place where either you or someone you trust is able to distill what the data is actually telling you, and let the data drive your decisions rather than what I refer to as our humanness, right? The emotions, whatever else can come in and start driving your decisions. That's so easy to do. Let the data drive the decisions, because for us, we focus intently on what we call the fundamental gravity. I believe the 2 most important variables that ever impact asset prices are economic conditions and how central banks respond to those conditions. So if you're not focused on whatever economy you're trading in, the economic conditions at the time, and specifically I mean growth and inflation, and the central bank policy and how that's dictating asset class returns, you're lost. I mean, that's the beginning place for me, and that's what I would recommend to anybody.
So it's long been my contention that Human nature has not changed a lot since the Garden of Eden.
Hadn't changed at all.
Okay, all right. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
You're going to give them a small amount of evolution. I'll give them none.
Okay. Darwin lives. All right. So, fear and greed are still pretty important to the equation.
Well, let me say this. I think it's important to the commerce of what we do.
Because we can appeal to someone's fear and greed.
And as humans, our humanness makes us susceptible to being
Amen.
right? Being
Amen.
brought in by fear and greed. There is very rarely, again, 20 years doing this, there's very rarely a time to be either fearful or greedy. Like, there's not, there's a lot of people out there letting you know the next market crash or next recession's right around the corner, scaring you into doing X, Y, and Z. Most things that happen on a daily basis in markets, or even for long stretches of time, are meaningless. Mm-hmm. Most of markets and what happens in economies is really noise. Yet, if you watch the media, if you're reading blogs or whatever, they've got to come up with some reason or rationale every single day for what's going on. Mm-hmm. When the reality is, it's just markets being markets, right? So
they're doing their thing.
That's exactly right. So again, I think the way to combat fear and greed is this idea of staying data dependent, process driven, and risk conscious, which simply means, again, let the data drive your decisions. B, process-driven, make every decision from a time-tested, proven process that you follow relentlessly.
Right.
Okay? And then risk consciousness is simply understanding the risk of a trade or investment first and caring about the profit potential second. It's quite simple, but KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Sure.
It works. It absolutely works.
This is one of the good guys in the industry.
Thank
Landon,
you.
I appreciate
I really
it.
appreciate
man.
it. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.